So I'm gonna just say my apologies in advance. This was the last video was very funny. It was very hilarious, you know what I'm saying? TikTok compilation, y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Now we got an opinionated video from Vixo. And I was told that she makes good points. However, some of the points are lacking, I guess. I don't really know. But this is BTS will never win a Grammy, and here's why. Yeah. So this is the same person that this. Oh, my bias is V, by the way. But this is the same person that did the Hybe is ruining their artists. So hey, this is gonna be interesting. I'm up for conversation and everything. So let's see why BTS will never win a Grammy. Hey, I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'm going to just let you know a couple things. I have a Patreon. Over there, we watch exclusive videos like the ones they don't allow on YouTube. And those exclusive videos consist of Kingdom Week, Bon Voyage, American Hustle Life, In the Soup, etc., 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 etc. And also videos that they just don't want me to have on my channel. If you want to watch those videos, go ahead and go to my Patreon and show some love. And let me know what you think about it. That's about it. Thank you. And let's get back to the video. Hey. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Damn. Okay. All right. The quality just turned to shit as soon as he started talking. That probably is a sign.
I'm back again with another video. For those who are familiar with this channel, you're probably very well aware that the K-pop industry is something that I'm genuinely very interested and passionate about. I love talking about the music production behind these tracks, the conceptual marketing that goes behind each release, as well as the overall trends and topics of discussion to be had. One thing that I don't particularly talk about here because it doesn't really fit the main focus of this channel's content is also my interest in Western pop culture. I'm someone who's just very interested in celebrity and pop culture in general. I enjoy watching the cultural shifts in fashion, music, and film, and how certain things come in and out of style. On top of this, I would also say I'm pretty invested in award show culture, from making predictions when the nominees are announced, to eventually discussing snubbed winners and how the night went down overall. A little while ago, when BTS lost the Best Pop Duo/Group Performance Award for the second year in a row with Butter, I made a community post talking about why I personally don't think BTS will ever get a Grammy if they continue the current route they're on. I think it facilitated a great forum for discussion, and after sitting on it for a while, I think there's a lot more to unpack with this conversation, and there are a lot of points I feel the need to expand on regarding BTS's pursuit of a Grammy Award. Before we dive into this video, there are a couple of things I want to make clear.
Okay, I was about to make a disclaimer, but she about to make one, so.
You're not doing anything by saying ex-armies always have BTS in their mouth. I enjoy the discussion of K-pop culture on all levels, regardless if I stan a group or not. BTS are unarguably the biggest K-pop act and possibly group in the world right now, so I think it'd be kind of stupid to just ignore their existence.
I'm not gonna lie to you, some channels do ignore their existence. Like, I remember looking at some K-pop rewind videos, and they just blatantly just ignored BTS. I'm just like, I mean, I guess are you trying not to seem biased or something? Like, I just be like, okay, okay.
This is an opportunity to bridge a discussion in my interests of both Western pop and K-pop, and I think reducing my videos as me being petty or salty completely misses the point of my content or what I strive to do with my analysis videos.
Let's have captions, because I feel like captions are going to be needed.
I enjoy critical discussion on all fronts. You can say I'm wasting my time, but this is quite literally the opposite of so for me. I get personal fulfillment on making essays such as these, so you're directing your anger in a way that is instead wasting your time. I like to open up forums for people to discuss their thoughts and opinions, and I never present my videos as fact or the sole truth. I want you guys to take my viewpoints and construct your own perspective on these topics, and I don't think it's healthy to consume media in a way that doesn't allow you to do so. I don't want this to be an echo chamber, and this definitely is not the place to bash on Hybe or BTS. This is a place for respectful, neutral discussion, and any comment showcasing the opposite of that will be promptly deleted.
This is gonna be
so let's start from the beginning. The Grammys do not like boy groups. They hate girl groups even more, but I feel like that is a key argument and point that K-pop stans seem to forget. It seems as though K-pop stans have just now begun tuning into the Grammys because BTS is involved, and they kind of assume they know everything about how it works and operates, and they can just label it as the hashtag scammies when things don't go their way. The Grammys, first and foremost, aren't pressured by fandoms. They're definitely rigged, but if there's one thing they won't succumb to...
Hey, Mercy, to your comment, it's funny how people really thought I was about to be a BTS only channel. Like at the beginning, after I told everybody, I'm like, bro, I want to document my K-pop journey, and I'm starting with BTS. People really thought I was just gonna just do straight BTS for like what, the next 3 years or some shit. Like, huh? Like, bro, what the hell? Like, people just be thinking I'm lying. Yeah, I love XLS. I love her.
It's the fan bases of popular boy and girl groups. But that aside, this is a common theme we've seen span across the Grammys for a multitude of years. It's not uncommon to see top boy groups of each pop era receive little to no recognition or accolades from the Academy.
Exactly.
We can take a look at NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, and One Direction, all receiving 0 wins from the Grammys, with the latter never even having received a single nomination.
Really?
Now, are these particularly justified takes and decisions from the Academy? There's a lot more nuance to this discussion than a simple yes or no answer.
Wait, the Backstreet Boys nor NSYNC got a Grammy? Damn. Yeah, I wasn't listening to them back then, but like they were big as hell. How did I get? Okay.
Music is inherently subjective, and in this case, it even more so questions the validity of award shows and what goes behind winners and nominees for them in the first place.
Politics.
I think hit singles such as I Want It That Way and Everybody by the Backstreet Boys and Bye 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 by NSYNC hold strong cultural influence and significance in the context of the pop era in the early 2000s.
That's actually surprising. That's very, very surprising. Wow.
And they still hold up musically today.
Wow. Bro, this song was hard. Like, what?
On the other hand, in my opinion, I don't think tracks like What Makes You Beautiful by One Direction or Dynamite by BTS hold much merit compared to those songs.
Did this get nominated for a Grammy either? These songs are like big. What? No? What the hell?
But then again, you guys might disagree with me on that.
What?
I personally find the soundscapes of the early 2000s pop scene to hold more longevity, and I do kind of have a personal bias against the corporate pop sound of the 2010s. Moreover, my opinion right
crazy.
here actually perfectly exemplifies how biased and subjective these takes can be, and putting them on such a cultural pedestal and global stage such as the Grammys just stews for like controversy and discussion of rigging and the validity of these award shows. I think the Academy itself is riding on the prestige it used to hold in the past and are slowly losing the authenticity and merit behind their picks. I won't lie, I do think there are times where these winners do make sense and are justified, and it's quite funny because the example I'm about to use quite literally circles back to my point about how the Academy is riding on its previous prestige from its earlier years. And my example here is talking about the Beatles. It wasn't until they started shifting away from their teen pop sound that they started getting recognized for their efforts in the industry, and their later albums sparked a lot of innovation and creativity. Their album Sgt. Pepper is a record known for completely reinventing the music industry and how artists approach music. Combined with its masterful production, I think the Academy rightfully awarded it in that regard.
Not really. I need her to write my essays because I'm not a good essay writer. But by these videos, she can make some words. She can make some words sound good, and she can hit every word count.
And that seems like the only context where the Academy will reward boy groups if they have this evolution in concept and sound. I also think there's a discussion to be had on the overall perception of these boy groups in terms of the Academy and how they seemingly won't even take them seriously from a pop perspective. It ties into these ideas that Western media looks down on the interests of teenage girls and how their tastes and interests can be seen as trivial and demure.
That's stupid because the fact that they look down on teenage girls, well, I'm gonna say teenage girls because it's not always teenage girls, but like the fact that they do that as if those people, like as if that demographic didn't pretty much just hold up the music industry from like what 2010 to what 2017. Like, how do you look down on that? Like, that don't make sense. That's like a YouTuber looking down on his or her audience. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? That don't make like, that's stupid.
This video isn't
stupid.
quite focusing on that topic, but Amanda BB has a great video illustrating how society hates teenage girls and the implications behind that, which will be linked in the description below. Another main argument I see from ARMYs, on the other hand, is this idea that the Grammys are just using BTS for publicity for the event, and they'll never give them the justice they deserve.
Yeah, they did that 3 years in a row. Or 2 years. 2 years in a row. Regardless, it wasn't 1 year. It was like 2 or 3 years in a row.
I hate to come off as condescending in this regard, but yeah, they are, but BTS aren't special in this case. Everything about the Grammys perpetuates the commercialization of the event as they try to bring in as many viewers as they possibly can. Okay. The producers are going to invite big names and flashy A-listers so their fan bases tune in. Why do you think we see them bringing in names like Lady Gaga and Olivia Rodrigo to the event?
But Lady Gaga and Olivia Rodrigo actually win the awards. So the fact that they're bringing big names, okay.
Because they're popular. There are hundreds of artists that are invited and attend that aren't even nominated because they want to bring in attention for the event.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole point of throwing this big thing in the first place. If we were solely focusing on the critical acclaim of it all, they just release a list of their picks, their nominees, and their winners, and that would be it. It wouldn't be televised at all. It'd just be like a simple web page or something.
Yeah, at least I'm glad they got something out of it. I'm happy that they got something out of it because, hey, and they said y'all want to come to the Grammys. Y'all not gonna win anything, but y'all just want to come just for exposure. You tell them to suck my dick.
It's an interesting combination when we get the audience of K-pop stans tuning into this event because the dynamics between K-pop fandoms is quite different from those of Western pop artist fandoms.
Okay, wait a minute. No, because hold on. First of all, if you want to, so they want to get clicks, so they use popular names. If you know the popular names that you're gonna use, aren't those clicks gonna be from the fandoms of the popular names you're gonna use? So if you disrespect them, then the fandom and the extra views that you wanted are gonna go away, right? Or what? Like do they just want clicks for that year, or they want clicks for a longevity amount of time, or a long period of time? Like that, like what the fuck?
K-pop itself has cultivated the mindset that you have to support your favorite artist in every venture they pursue. So even though the Grammys already upset ARMYs once, they can't really conduct a proper boycott because there's this sliver of a chance that there might be a possible award for them next time.
No, I know they don't care. Like, they'll do anything for views, clicks, and clout. But I'm just thinking, like, if you want to farm views, clicks, and clout, it would be best to, well, it will, in my brain right here, it would be best to nurture what you're using for clicks and clout. Like, I just want to know who is in that board.
But then next year. Like, the Grammys are slowly shifting into an event that very rarely seems to reward those that are challenging the boundaries of music, losing any semblance of merit they once had in the past. Looking back on it, I think my community post had kind of reduced the whole argument to being hype make.
They need to put me on the Grammys board. And if they did, I would have BTS win, I would have EXO win, ATEEZ win, Stray Kids win, and all the underground rap artists I listen to.
It's bad music, and therefore, hype shouldn't be rewarded. However, I think there's much more nuance.
I'm gonna have all the SoundCloud artists I listen to just winning shit.
To this conversation than just that, and there's a lot more to discuss in that regard and why exactly HYBE made the BTS English trilogy in the first place. The Grammys are racist. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Black artists represent well over 38% of all artists on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, yet only received 25% of nominations for these respective reward shows.
That's crazy.
There are numerous examples of this systemic bias and judgment against artists of color. Some recent ones is that Tyler, the Creator, has spoken about how his 2020 album Igor was nominated in the rap category, but in actuality, it's quite literally the opposite of.
Now that pissed me off. That really pissed me off. Tyler is that nigga, and I say that because in his thing, he literally said something he said about being labeled as a hip-hop artist or being urban is literally a fancy way of saying the N-word. Well, nigga. And like this is why I love Tyler so damn much. Like, ugh.
Such, and it was only nominated in that category because he's black. Another addition to this is that Splinter reported back in 2016 that the big four categories, which are Album of the Year, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist,
like what they did for Virgil. Like they said he was a hip hop fashion designer. Like, nigga, huh? Like what? Like what, bro? It's all these people. It's all these people on the board. I'm pretty sure it's hella people, and then not one person could just say, "Hey, yo, you should really not do this because this is kind of disrespectful." Like he did a lot more than was just a hip hop art. Like, or at least say this: does the album say hip hop and rap? If it doesn't, why the hell would you call him like? Oh, the weekend wasn't nominated because what happened? He said fuck the Grammys, I think. He wasn't nominated because there was something that was like he can either perform at the Super Bowl or get a Grammy, and he was like, well, fuck the Grammy. I'll go perform at the Super Bowl.
almost always go to.
But that album was amazing. That album was amazing.
White artists. There's a piece of information I came across that also really changed my perspective on what Hybe exactly is doing with this English trilogy they presented, and that is, there is only one non-English song to win Song of the Year and Record of the Year. That being, I'm not going to pronounce this properly, it's Nel Bleu de Pinto de Bleu by Domenico Modugno in 1959.
Eminem was right.
And I think the really important thing to emphasize in that award year is that was the first year the Grammys were ever held. Since then, no other non-English song has yet to win. I think the problem with the Grammys is the systemic rigging and racism, which makes BTS and Hybe almost feel pressured into making these corporate English pop songs. It's been revealed that for years
Wait, don't they have a Latin category? Don't they have a Latin category? What? What the fuck? So non-English. So Latin counts as non-English, right? I'm pretty sure it's not English. But an Italian song won? That's how do you Jesus Christ.
Academy was
okay, Record of the Year. I get okay.
Rejecting their Korean releases such as Fake Love, and the Academy has a history of never nominating non-English songs in the first place.
That is true.
It really reflects a deeper issue here when we talk about how artists speaking and releasing music in a different language aren't even given many opportunities in the United States music market in the first place. It doesn't matter that the Grammys are US based because the United States doesn't equal only English.
Oh, did y'all know something that I learned from doing like social media research and stuff like that? So someone said, or I read that there's a reason as to why Latin songs get so many views, but the artists don't get as much like money for it. It's because the transfer of the market is so like, it's so like, I don't know the word. It's like dense or something. Like it's so separated. So like if you see like Despacito, for example, they have like what 5 billion. It doesn't have as many, like you don't get that much revenue as you would say The Weeknd, whatever 1 billion song he has. Like that's odd. That's very odd. Like I don't understand. Like it's on the same platform, it gets the same amount of views. Why don't they pay the same amount of money? Like like whatever, I guess.
It's a very
It's
difficult
sad.
line
Like,
that
what
we're
the
towing,
fuck?
and it's hard to create a concise statement to summarize it. I don't think the Grammys are indirectly trying to tell BTS to push for a more corporate pop song when they nominate tracks like Dynamite and Butter. What I've gathered from my research is that I think the Academy is stuck in their racist ways and refuse to nominate a non-English track, and what they instead want BTS to do is take the sound heard in their Korean tracks and make one but just with English lyrics instead. And Hybe instead misinterpreted this as the Academy pushing them to emulate the corporate pop sound heard in English tracks such as Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. BTS's early catalog of music is innovative and very strong in the production department, and the Grammys would only recognize that soundscape if the songs were in English. I think there's a big reason as to why tracks like Shape of You and Dynamite have very different results at the Grammys, despite sounding very similar in production.
That's what I'm saying. Language barrier should not be an excuse, bro. Like you're lit. Like I don't.
Sheeran has always kind of leaned into this overly peppy, polished pop sound that's very radio friendly, and didn't shift his musical style in pursuit of a Grammy.
But is Ed Sheeran and Zara? No. I don't hear this while I'm shopping.
I'm in love with your body.
But BTS did, and I don't think they're going to reward them for that behavior. The Grammys rewarded the Beatles' shift in sound because it was in the context of pushing the boundaries of music and the industry as a whole.
I kind of think they picked the Beatles because this is a terrible opinion, but I think they picked the Beatles because they were British and it's closer to whiteness. So they allow it, I guess.
With them taking an experimental approach to their work.
That is true. I never hear BTS on the radio. But then again, I don't listen to the radio. So
they've been put in a hard place because BTS don't stand a chance of winning with this overly pop sound, but the Academy refused to accept the submissions of their Korean releases, which were much higher in caliber. The English releases got them the nomination, but the track's poor quality stopped them from winning. I hope this is making sense here. Now, I won't lie. I still stand by the sentiment that I do think BTS's music has in fact seen a shift in quality control, and that their previous submissions were much stronger in terms of production and composition.
I wonder what she's gonna say when BTS have this comeback. I wonder what they're gonna say. I wonder what she's gonna say.
I also don't think this decline in quality in their tracks was purely because of the indirect push for more corporate-sounding pop songs in order to get recognition from the Academy, because this change in mixing and audio engineering was actually first heard in the Map of the Soul 7. I actually made a video essay a little bit ago dissecting the decline in Hybe's producing teams, and the summation of that video therein falls on the company's neglect regarding proper production and mixing techniques, and an over-reliance on autotune and vocal processing. I also think there's a strong disconnect in BTS's work since Map of the Soul 7, and instead their entire musical identity has taken a hit as a whole. This is not exclusive to their English trilogy, but I also found this sentiment of bland composition relevant in their B album as well. In pursuit of this Grammy Award, even their Korean discography has faced backward mobility in this context. Tracks like Telepathy and Stay are slathered in this heavy, thick autotune accompanied by outdated soundscapes.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's wrong with B? What happened to B? Oh, what?
People usually try to use this album as a counter talking point, arguing BTS still kind of make high quality Korean releases, but I still feel like this EP is a far cry from what their music used to be. The release as a whole is messy and disorganized, with no clear sonic cohesion, with the members sounding unrecognizable due to poor sound engineering on the whole release. It feels as though the prerogative towards all of BTS's releases since Map of the Soul 7 shift more into the sphere of 2010s boy group soundscapes, such as what we've heard from One Direction.
Okay, first off, let me go to B and just make sure I'm not tripping, because what the fuck? I'm about to go to B right now and just read off the list of songs on this album, because what the fuck? That don't make no damn sense. I feel like she just didn't like Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance. That's what I'm thinking. Life Goes On, Fly to My Room, Blue and Gray, Telepathy, Disease, Stay, and Dynamite. Really? What? I want to know if she's like an engineer or something.
It doesn't surprise me how many personal stories I can actually recount of my friends that use.
It's literally a story. It's literally a story in B, and Dynamite is just at the bottom of the list. Like it's just at the bottom with just like it's just just the song of the year type shit. It's there. Like I don't.
Used to be One Direction fans suddenly becoming ARMYs, and I think there is kind of a common denominator slowly growing in sound in that regard. Maybe this shift is targeting the market for maybe a stronger global appeal, but it almost
B came out on your birthday? So pretty much your birthday is a national holiday, huh?
feels as if Hybe is forgetting the sound that made
My
BTS
bias
so
is V.
special, unique, and popular in the first place. All their releases therein feel overtly polished and almost mediocre in their overall composition and production, feeling increasingly predictable and outdated upon release. This isn't to say BTS are barred from doing bubblegum pop and they need to stick to heavy hip-hop raps heard in their earlier albums, or even go back to the deep house motifs heard in The Most Beautiful Moment in Life album. Tracks like Just One Day and In Pan Man still retain their brighter pop sound without sacrificing merit to their overall production and arrangement. I find the overall melodies of Boys with Fun to be much more catchy and hold up better than those of Make It Right or Butter. I mean, I still can name those tracks off the top of my head, and I consistently go back to them to listen to them. Of course, this is totally a statement, more so based on personal opinion, but I do think if you listen to these songs, you can hear the apparent change in technical quality in terms of composition. These subsequent releases feel imbalanced and inauthentic, lacking the personality we've heard from them before. There's also been a lot of debate as well comparing both the results of Rain on Me and Kiss Me More's respective wins, with ARMY saying that the award is focused on best performance, but they are taking that in a literal sense. I want to quickly add that in this context, performance refers to the vocal performance on the track. It focuses on the vocal and instrumental performance on the recording and isn't more so centralized on the dancing and live elements.
Okay, if I could sum up this whole video, this is an argumentative essay where she has some good points, but also she makes reaches, like she's reaching sometimes. So like this is like a one of those essays that you turn in where you just make claims. I used to make essays like this at school. I used to be reaching like fuck.
It's really difficult seeing K-pop stans argue about the semantics of the Grammys when in actuality, these award shows have been scamming artists for years, and it's tricky to have this nuanced conversation about it when ARMYs think the Grammys are rigged against BTS and only BTS.
It's simple. You have to have people in those rooms that will make the decisions to select the people that you want to have selected. So it's like you know what I'm saying? Like when the Grammys had hella black people, it's because there was black people in the boardroom telling them, yo, we need to do this, and that, like shit like that. Like that's what happens when you have representation. When you have representation, people get represented. Put some people in that goddamn board.
I think Hybe has been sabotaged by this false perception of what the Academy is specifically looking for from them, and have begun to release music that feels so far removed from their original sound and image.
Like I promise you, if you put so I'm just say white. So if you put white board members, black board members, Korean board members, Japanese board members, Latin board members, etc., then you'll have like a balanced award show. And then I'm pretty sure there will be no sweeps. You will have a balanced award show.
There is no clear winner in this situation, and it instead results
By the way, this is my opinion too, so you know what I'm saying.
in backlash from the respective fandoms, which then only feeds into the publicity of the whole event in the first place. I think what we need to gather from this conversation is that we need to really take a step back and have a discussion about what the point of this whole strive for a Grammy entails and how it inherently connects to the artistic integrity of the music industry, and why have we put such a pedestal on an award show that is American-centric and even more so has a very long, gross, deep history of racism and rigging. This has also even been cited when former Academy CEO Deborah Dugan, when removed from her position, very publicly spoke about a secret committee in which these voting members were encouraged to vote in favor in terms of performers they had prior relationships with. I feel like this whole rivalry of BTS versus the Grammys represents a smaller microcosm of everything that is inherently wrong with the Western pop industry and how fandom behavior plays out. And even writing this analysis makes me question the weight we hold on these award shows in the first place.
I feel like the quality of like the way she speaks is like the same quality of the experts from Kingdom when they made their votes. That is my analogy.
It's a really difficult discussion to have because you also begin to blur the lines between the ideas that are the Grammys actually rigged, or are these fandoms throwing temper tantrums because their favorite artist didn't win. Again, I don't think there is a distinct answer or overall conclusion to be had with these ideas. I'm more personally biased to the idea that if the Grammys were actually there to celebrate music and this critical discussion about it like it claims to, artists like BTS and Doja Cat wouldn't have even been nominated in the first place.
No, I don't agree with that. No.
I don't want you guys to come away from this video as they going, oh.
If we're really celebrating music, then BTS and Doja Cat definitely would be in the nominations. Doja Cat is very, 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 very good. Like very, 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 very good. And she's underrated. As she's very fucking good.
Ray is saying that the Grammys are always wrong, so BTS should have won. The whole thing is a farce and doesn't represent the music industry accurately, because that's not what I'm saying. I think both the Grammys and Oscars are very comparable at this point, and this is a pattern I've noticed in the Oscars that I feel is quite applicable to the Grammys in this discussion.
I don't even like the Oscars. Fuck the Oscars, first of all, because I didn't even know Will Smith ain't win an Oscar until when he slapped the shit out the guy. And I didn't know Samuel Jackson never won an Oscar either.
The Oscars will have 2 years of questionable winners, but 1 year, the winner will make perfect sense, and it'll keep you coming back until the cycle repeats itself. I think we can see these parallels with the Grammys. If we look at the 2 best album recipients, I think the previous 2 have been kind of questionable, but this year's made perfect sense. Again, I must emphasize that this is...
Okay. I don't know anything about John Baptiste. So I'm not really going to say too much about that. That was the first time I've heard of John Baptiste in ever in the Grammys. So it's just like, all right, who is he? So he's amazing. Okay. Okay, good.
My personal observation based on my picks for winners, but I digress. It's all about the commercialization of the product, and we, the audience, are the consumers. And maybe I'm just feeding into the Academy's prerogative by making this video in the first place and opening up a discussion about it. Again, it's a topic that seems to go in circles the more I think and write about it. These events just lack transparency for both artists and audiences alike. I feel like after this award show season, Hybe kind of needs to go back to the drawing board and focus on their future promotions and the musical identity BTS is going to present in the future.
What do you expect them to talk about? Like, at the end of the day, like, what do you expect them to talk about? Like, they're struggling, but they're not struggling like they were back in the day. Like, what do you expect them to talk about?
Anyways, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and perspectives on this topic. Do you think BTS will ever get a Grammy with their current releases, or do you think that they need to abandon this project? Moreover, that concludes this video.
I think BTS will not win a Grammy unless we get the right people in the board to actually respect them to give them the Grammy. That's what I feel like. You know what I'm saying? I really wouldn't like go on like talk about the production and stuff like that. Like, there's nothing really wrong with the production, in all honesty. Like, a decline in production just because of like heavy auto-tune. No. No. But you know what I'm saying? Hey, it's her opinion, so what do y'all think? Let me know what y'all think, because she did make some good points, but some of them I just disagree with. So, but you know, freedom of speech is freedom of speech, right? We gonna still keep supporting them, so